guys, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. Today we're going to be cleaning this guy up and doing just kind of your routine maintenance kind of stuff. We're going to change the oil, we're going to change the air filter, we're going to wash this thing, we're going to clean out the inside, we're going to get it all spruced up while we are still trying to source the head unit. We may hit these, try to clean up these headlights, make them look a little more new, I guess. And what else are we gonna do? I want to look into whatever that leak is right there, because it's coming from underneath, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. And I also want to look into, when I drove it, there was a knock or whatever coming from the front end, so I want to figure out what that is also. So we got a lot to do today in this video, so without further ado, let's get this oil all switched out. That way I'm not laying under it when it's wet. So yeah, let's get this oil switched out real quick, and then we'll pull it outside and start with the washing and stuff. So after looking at it, yeah, it looks there's a whole bunch of oil underneath near the oil pan gasket. There's a whole bunch of oil and stuff in there, and there's a whole bunch here also. So what I'm gonna do actually is I am going to hose all this out, or pressure wash all this out first before we do anything, just in case it is that oil pan gasket and I have to change the oil again to replace the gasket. So I don't want to do it twice. So what we are going to do is pull it outside. I want to pressure wash all this out in here and see if we can't figure out where this leak is coming from. So let's do that, but in order to do that, we first need to move the other truck, which is freshly detailed. Beautiful. Alright guys, check it out. She is a really good looking machine. She does need some new wipers, and she does have a couple bottle scars, but really, for as old as this car is, it's really not that bad. You got a little kink in the wheel arch there, and this door has a few dents in it, but honestly nothing that I'm gonna worry about. This thing is actually in really good shape. A lot of the clear is a little faded, but like I said, this thing really overall is in pretty good shape. And to be honest, the interior, I don't think it's going to take that long to clean either, because for the most part it's really pretty clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum it out. We'll do a wipe down, and if I need to vacuum it again, I will. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to need to, because this thing is really overall very clean. Makes me very, very happy to see. Yeah, so we do need some wipers. That one's pretty nasty. And if I can source, or if I can find a wiper arm when I'm in the junkyard for the rear, this thing is pretty shot. So we will try to find one of those also. Yeah, so overall turned out pretty good for a quick wash. We will pull it back in. I scraped off some lettering from that side. The only thing left to take off is this sticker from a previous dealership on there. And then really this thing is cleaned up. I won't say ready to go. Still got to find that head unit. I still need to get it all titled in my name and everything. But let's get it pulled in. I actually might drive it down the road to see if I can't figure out what that noise is. That noise might be coming from this side, actually. I'm sorry for the lighting here, but that's the noise from the tire. Not the tire, but from one of the bushings or bearings or... Looks like this one right here. She's pretty cracked and worn. Let's see if I can't block sunlight and get you some other lighting here. She's pretty cracked and worn out, so that looks like what we need to replace right there. Sweet. So we'll get that on order also, along with that boot, whatever's going on with that boot. So, like I said, I'm gonna look into the boot, but probably gonna get this wheel off and take a look at that and see what part we need to order to get that addressed also. So let's start breaking into these two issues. Dug into this side pretty well. We found our issue and we created another. I ruined the threads at the bottom of this outer tie rod, so I'm going to replace this tie rod, this outer section here. Basically all you have to do is count your revolutions and put this right back on, assuming you have the same length. And the main reason that we took this out was for this lower ball joint. She's got a lot of play in it. So that's where some of the at least A noise was coming from. So hopefully that's all of it. And in taking this apart, I've kind of learned how the whole assembly is together. So I should be able to get to the other side pretty easily. We'll get this wheel off, and then I should be able to get to... That side had some bolts. This side... Ah, I see. Because it's not an axle shaft. It's actually the other tie rod inner boot that is leaking. So now I'm going to dig into this side and see what I can't figure out. I was kind of interested to see how that ball joint looks, but it looks fine. Noise as the other wheel. So that's good. If we gotta take it back apart, we gotta take it back apart. I know how to do it now, so it's not a big deal. So let me get that wheel off, and then we can take those tie rod boots off and see what we can't find in there. On this side, what we found is the boot is pretty nasty. So it seems like there was some grease leaking from the boot, but also it looks like maybe the fuel pump, which is right there, may be leaky, because it looks like there's some pretty fresh oil on that. So I'm going to price out everything, see what we can't come up with as a total, and probably get most of these parts. I'm not entirely sure. I think that screws. I think that screws right on. Yep. So we can get the inner and outer and a new boot on all of these. I may just replace the tie rods altogether, and see what we can come up with. So yeah, depending on what kind of pricing I can get for the whole deal, I may just replace the inner and outer tie rods with both boots. And while I'm in there, probably, depending on the price, of course, get that fuel pump, or that oil pump also. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this portion. The next will be getting all those parts installed, and hopefully getting rid of all the knocks and noises and lights. So I'll catch you guys when we got the parts. Alright guys, welcome back. It is the next day for me. So what we've done today is we've gone and picked up our oil cooler seal, and we also picked up a battery to see if that's why this key fob won't work. So we are going to replace the battery. Pretty simple. You're going to take it apart on the keyring side. There's a little slot. All you're going to do is take your screwdriver, split your flathead screwdriver, split your key apart, and yeah, this battery is pretty corroded. So what it looks like is there are a couple plastic tabs. I'm just going to use my flat screwdriver and pry it up very carefully because they do look pretty fragile. So just like that. If you can see right there, there's a plus sign to show that the positive side goes down. So let's break into these real quick. Find something to cut it open. And the battery size for this style key fob from Nissan is it's a 2032, which is the size of the battery, similar to what a or AAA, AA, C, D, all that good stuff. So the battery does show a plus on this side. So this side will go down. Then we will throw it right in here, same way you took it out. Should snap right in. Just like that. Snap right in. Then I'm going to take this, snap it back on. Just like that. I do have the battery disconnected. So let's connect the battery real quick. See if our... Give it a shot. Oh, look at that. That's all it needed was a battery. So perfect. One more thing I can cross off the list. But next we are going to tackle the oil cooler seal. When I went to Nissan, because it is a genuine part, it only cost me, I think, $7. So I don't mind paying for the genuine part sometimes. Sometimes they're crazy priced, but these seem to be reasonable, pretty common issue from the research I did. But also the research I did showed a smaller O-ring also for this, so we may see the condition of it. Hopefully this is the seal that's leaking and the O-ring is fine, but we won't know that until we get it apart. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to get this swapped out, and if that is indeed our leak, and we can see that obviously from our old seal, we are going to change the oil today, and then we will probably stop for the day because I am waiting for the parts I ordered for the ball joints and the tie rod. Those should be here in the next couple days. Worst case, early next week. So we would pick back up with this and finish it there. Also, I took this boot off thinking that it was leaking, but after looking at it, it looks like because the oil cooler is above it, it leaked onto it, making it look like it was leaking. So I don't actually need a new boot, so I am going to probably put all that stuff back together as well. The only thing I'm not sure about is this little clamp. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that because I bent it a little bit, so I'm not sure it'll seal properly. But when we put it all back together, we are going to use some new grease on the universal joint that's in there and whatnot. So we should be good to go there as well. So with that being said, let's get this oil cooler seal changed out. I want to just take a quick look again to see if I can see where it's wet, because I wiped it off pretty good yesterday on the area I thought it was the most damp. So we should be able to find our issue. So what we've got here is it's held on basically, and I'm sorry for the camera angle, I'm trying not to get oil all over everything. What we have here is the bolt that comes out of it, and this orange O-ring is the other one I was talking about. This one looks to be good, so I'm just going to leave it. But up here what we have is, this is also, the bolt is a 17 millimeter. And now I haven't taken it out yet, but it just slides out towards the passenger side of the vehicle, or the right side. So all that should happen now, oil everywhere. All that should happen now is this just slides off, more oil runs out. This little seal right here is what we want, and it has fallen. So this seal, I'm not sure, is what we want, that we're going to replace. It looks almost like somebody has replaced it previously. Maybe, oh yeah, there you go. It's all torn on the inside. You can see where it's it was crushed. You can see right on the inside where that groove is. Not sure if you guys can see it or not. Let's see if we can't get it. Right in there. I'll show you again on the bench, but see where half of it's dark and half of it's not. And then if you go around a little bit to this edge, it's not the same all the way around. So it was crushed in there somehow, improperly installed, whatever. So what we're going to do is try to clean this up a little bit, and then we will slap that new new seal into this side, into the housing, because it's got a nice little groove for it. So we're going to try to clean that up. It's pretty nasty in there. That little bit of black is from the inside of that. So I'm going to clean this up real quick, and then I will get back to showing you guys what to do step by step for this. So I'll catch you guys when I get it all cleaned up. Alright guys, this is a better angle for you to see the back side of that. So what we're looking at is where the seal goes, and if you look up at the top, you can see just how crusty and nasty it is. Right there, getting some glare, but so what we're going to do is we're going to clean up where that seal sits, and then we are going to throw that seal in there, and hopefully that's going to take care of our leak, because it's pretty nasty in there. So I'm going to scrape that out. We're going to get her all cleaned up. Should be good to go. Alright guys, and just like that, we got her all nice and clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to slap that seal in, we're going to throw the bolt back in, and then hopefully we should be, oh, sorry about that, turn the light off. Hopefully we should be good to go with no leaks at all. So let's throw that seal in, we'll throw that bolt in, and we will try to get more of this cleaned up. Alright guys, so here are the two seals. This one definitely looks swollen if it's supposed to look like this one. They're very, very different in size. And the other thing that I noticed is that the inside of this is all kind of misshaped. So the really dark section is the same width, and the half dark, half not dark they're different widths. Whereas this one is the same all the way around. And it's symmetric, so you can't put it in the wrong way. I'm not really sure what happened with that one. So I'm gonna slap this in, hopefully get rid of our leak. Alright guys, so just like that, we've got it all back together. We got it cleaned up pretty nice. So as far as tightness on this, what I did was I cleaned it up as best I could, tightened it down, and then I continuously tightened it till it was snug, and then I cleaned it some more and then I tightened it to what I thought, let it stop dripping until it no longer is leaking. Then I went just a little bit tighter. You just want to be careful that you don't crush your seal, because then you'll end up having to do it again. All it's going to do is leak. So with that being done, all I got to do is get this boot back on. I'm going to re-grease this tie rod joint, and then we'll put that boot back on, and then I should be able to put the tie rod back on, and then this side should be complete. Alright guys, so what we got here, some bearing grease. I'm just going to shove some grease up into that little joint, and then get that then from there we will get geez, can't even think right now. We'll get that boot back on. Sorry. So we're going to take a bunch of grease. I'm going to re-grease this with fresh grease. She's good to go. Kind of try to, sorry, I'm not very good at holding it and doing it at the same time. Just try to pack it down in there just so it doesn't dry out. I did spray some cleaner up in here, so we just want to make sure that it's lubed, good to go. Can never have too much. Worst it's going to do is leak out a little bit, but that should be good. That should do it. So all we're going to do is put this back on, and then I have to re-crimp this. I'll show you what I mean when I get that far, but I need to clean this up so I'm not getting grease everywhere. Alright guys, so there you have it. The ball joint, or the tie rod, is all put back in. What else? We got the boot back on, we got the clamp tight. It looks like we've successfully fixed the leak because it was dripping off of that little arm that's right there at the tip of my finger. It was dripping off of that. So we got that cleaned up pretty good. It's looking great.